Everybody. I have to say, usually I hit that thing. I'm not very good at it. It doesn't reverberate, but I did pretty well this morning. Welcome. I'm Adrian, and I am not the president. I'm just a member. But I'm here to welcome you. So come, whoever you are, holding various beliefs, whatever your skin color, whatever your age or gender identity, whatever your abilities, whoever you love. You are welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro. You are welcome in this, our religious home. I extend a welcome to all of our visitors and guests. If you would like, we invite you to take a moment to introduce yourself. Waylon, I think we've seen you before, but I'm so glad you're here. Good morning. Are there any visitors who would like to say hello? No, we have visitors who are not willing to say hello. So look around for them after the church service and give them a special greeting. All right. We hope that if you are a visitor, that you will give us some contact information and sign up in our guest registry near the front of the church or on our webpage at uustatesboro.org so we can send you information. For the month of June, half of our offering is going, that is not designated as a pledge, is going to Borough Pride, which they had a wild party last night. Many of us were there, dancing up a storm. Yay. All right. Thank you for sharing your resources during the offertory later in the service. And now I'm going to turn things over to Sherry. Is that right? Or do we? Yes. She says thumbs up. I am done.
Thank you, Adrian. And I will lead us through our congregational affirmation. If you will, say along with me.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another.
May it ever be so. Okay, let's go. We have some opening words that I wasn't expecting. Okay. I'm Sherry Barr, Pastoral Care Associate here at UU Fellowship, one of two, and I'm pleased to be the worship leader for the service this morning. Here are these opening words by Oliver Sacks. Each of us is a biography, a story. Each of us is a singular narrative, which is constructed continually and consciously by, through, and in us, through our perceptions, our feelings, our thoughts, our actions, and not least our discourse, our spoken narration. Biologically, physiologically, we are not so different from each other. Historically, as narratives, we are, each of us, unique. Very appropriate for our service today, which we'll be hearing from three among us about their own individual journeys and what brought them to UU. We start our service with the lighting of the chalice, which is, of course, the symbol of our religious faith. Say the words with me. Rise up a flame. Standing nearby.
Yeah, I know. I'll get that on the way out. This year, it's changed, so I just found this out of myself. That's the best part.
Now's the time to story for all ages. Come on, see, there's good pictures today. So anybody who wants to see pictures, can come down first. Have y'all heard this story before? About a flamingo named Sylvie? I'm gonna read it for you. One morning, Sylvie looked at her family.
Cabbage.
Then she looked around at everything else. Mama, she asked, why are we pink? Well, dear, we're pink because the little shrimp we eat are pink, explained Mama. That gave Sylvie an idea. She tried nibbling on some palm leaves. What's going to happen? See, sure enough, she started to turn green. Next, she spotted some delicious looking purple grapes. Let's see what happened. Oh, the grapes turned Sylvie positively purple. A purple flamingo. But Sylvie didn't stop there. She thought she'd look yummy in chocolate. You spotted it. And she was right. What a beautiful sky, said Sylvie. It's the perfect shade of blue. She was looking at the blue sky. Sylvie just happened to be flying close to a kite in the sky. And became Scarlet Sylvie with just one bite. You called it. What fun she was having. She wondered what stripes might taste like. Rather stripy. Why wear flowers just on your head? I just wear. See, when you can be the whole bouquet. Sylvie had to tiptoe across the sand for a taste of the swimsuit she spotted. She's sneaking up on that man. It was worth it to be Paisley. But after stuffing her tummy with all those tastes all day, Sylvie didn't feel so well. All the changes she's been through today.
She's rainbow.
It's a busy day. In fact, mixed up, isn't she?
I think I feel like they probably feel like schools. Yeah.
I can understand that. Sylvie looked at herself, and then she looked at her family. She didn't look like she matched anymore, did she? Sylvie decided to go back to eating little pink shrimp. With a little dessert.
Now they have rainbow tail and now they're.
Thank you, William. For those in the back who can't see, she's back to pink with a little rainbow table for you. Good for Sylvie, exploring, enjoying being all different kind of colors. Thank you. Okay, guys, let's stand up and face the congregation, and we will do our children's affirmation. If you don't know it, you can just follow along. We start with our hands up like this. Grown-ups, y'all can help us. We are
Unitarian, Universalist, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands.
Thank you. And William knows y'all line up behind William, and we will sing him out of your praise.
We shelter you. You warm our hearts as you pass through. The arms of help, you as you grow, to help you learn and help you grow.
Thank you. You may be seated. As I mentioned, we're going to hear from three of our own today, hints of their journey, what they want to share with us about how they came to be here at UU with us. Let's rest our minds and thoughts and hearts for a few moments as we prepare to hear the stories of our friends. I'm pleased to invite to our podium to share with us this morning three folks from here at UU. We're going to start with Thomas, whose nickname is Dolly. After Thomas shares with us, Mary, Angelo will come and speak, and then bringing up the rear will be John Martin. So I invite you, Thomas, to come and share with us.
It works. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Thomas, or Dolly, as anybody else said. I guess I'm up here to talk a little bit about myself, my life, and I guess how I got here. Basically from an early age, especially on my dad's side, every Sunday I went to church. Like that was the thing that we went to. My mom's side, a little different. The majority of my life on my mom's side, I didn't really go to church, but we grew up recognizing that Christianity was a thing. Like my mom believes it and all that stuff. As time went on and I got older and I started, I guess, maturing myself, I realized that there was a lot more to life and faith and other things than just Christianity. And I started to explore that and kind of like reach out and ask different questions. one of the big things that I landed on was like spiritual energy and how all of that connects each other in life and the universe itself and stuff. And I found that to be, I guess, really interesting. So it's something that's stuck with me a lot as time goes on. Let's see. I didn't have a speech prepared, so I'm just winging this. It's hard.
Tell us how you found out about UU.
My spouse was recommended that we came here from a friend. They were like, if you're looking for something that, you know, that you can come and be sociable, something, you know, just get out, and that way you're not doing nothing on Sundays and stuff like that. And I thought it sounded interesting. I almost did not come at first. I almost told everybody, I was like, I'll pass, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I got to come here and sit and for the services that I've been into. And it's been a real eye-opener listening to different people preach about different perspectives and how everything kind of like comes together. And it's nice to see the community that is here. Like, I didn't expect there to be such a broad range of people that come to this building every Sunday, and it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that people actually like enjoy their faith and put love in one another and stuff like that, and put love in humanity rather than hate. Because that's, unfortunately, growing up in the 20s for most people right now, that's all, what you're seeing a lot is just hate and not good things out in the world. And I don't want to spread that. I want to continue to spread that. I want to be able to show people that regardless of like who you are, age, sex, race, gender, and stuff like that, everybody can find a common middle, a common ground to be able to like care for one another. Because at the end of the day, I mean, the way I see it, we're all human beings. We all think differently, we feel differently, and stuff like that. We're all unique to each other. And I don't think that we should pass up that uniqueness so easily with each other. I feel like the more you talk to a person and you make that connection, the more you understand like how deep a person's thought process and love and care can really go. I mean, you spend enough time with somebody, I mean, you tell them like, I'm willing to do anything for you. I'm willing to give everything I got just to, you know, see you prevail or see you guys happy and stuff. So, 2 minutes, wow. Man, I talk fast. I guess to go more in depth about like my faith walk, there's part of me that does believe in Christianity. It's there. I'm not going to denounce it or anything like that. But like I said earlier, there's a big part of me that believes in like the spiritual energy of things and how it all connects to one another. And the flow of life, I guess, is what I like to call it. It's very interesting to sit and think about how everything just coexist together if you let it and stuff like that. Dang, still a minute. Let's see. I hope that I can continue to come to this place and listen to the people talk in the sermons, the different messages and stuff that get conveyed out. So I think that's all I got.
Yeah, good job.
Good morning. My name is Angelo, most of you have met me. I kind of wish I could stand up here and point to Dolly and say what he said. That was, I think we're saying about the same thing, not to, but we kind of come across this the same way, I think, in a lot of ways. I will say, when I sit down and think about why I'm at UU, I don't fully know sometimes. I'm very much like a work in progress. So I'll just talk a little bit about that. I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic school until I was in 8th grade. And so if you're in Catholic school, you get asked like every other day if you think you have a vocation. So the boys want to be priests and the girls want to be nuns. And for a while, I guess I kind of thought I might have a vocation. You know, I don't think it was just my love of uniforms. I think it was. I think just the idea of living a life of service and prayer and kind of being immersed in the sacred every day had some appeal to me. But I did grow out of that. I had a sense of the sacred as a child and liked it, and that's part of the reason I liked the Catholic Church is that all the trappings kind of embodied that for me. The vestments, the priestly vestments, the candles, the gold chalice, all the other gold things. And the best thing of all was the incense, which we only got a few times a year, but it was just, it evoked such a sense of the sacred for me. So, but a lot of things evoke that sense, especially, interactions with people, interactions with nature especially. So even when I was 9 or 10 and riding my bike around the neighborhood, all my little boundaries that my parents had given me, and sometimes outside the boundaries, but anyway, we won't get into that. But there were areas where, there's one area where the Australian pine trees overhung the sidewalk, and it was just totally enclosed. And I used to ride my bike there and park it and sit there and just kind of enjoy that, just kind of exist, you know. So even as a kid. So there's a lot of areas in nature, particularly, that I remember as a kid that kind of evoked that feeling for me. So that's that sense of the sacred, the sense of magic. So I didn't necessarily need the trappings of the Catholic Church. So as I got to be a teenager, I started just feeling kind of empty in church. It didn't really, there was that ritual, but it didn't really make me care that much. When I was 16, I had a driver's license, I had a car. I'd tell my dad I was going to the 7:30 Mass and leave the house super early and go to the park and sit under a tree and read a book for an hour and then I'd come back. So got away with that for quite a while. And eventually he stopped making me go once I turned 18. So, yeah. All through my adulthood, I think I thought a lot about spirituality, but I didn't imagine I'd ever find a faith that kind of encompassed that idea. John and I have 2 kids. When they were young, I actually wanted to have them baptized in the Catholic faith, and I rejoined for a while. But nothing had really changed. I don't know what I thought. I had changed, the church had changed. The church certainly hadn't changed. and I hadn't changed that much either. But it was just, didn't have the kind of meaning I hoped it would have for me. And then in the meantime, the pre-sexual abuse scandal had, become apparent. And so it was just sort of like pretty little gilded tablecloth over something kind of ugly. So and the other thing that stood out for me that I don't even know that I noticed when I was younger was that I always was going to be a second-class citizen as a female in the Catholic Church. I could never be a priest. I was always seen as somewhat deficient compared to men, and that I couldn't tolerate that. So a lot of things about Catholic faith kept seeming ridiculous. This is a heaven and hell. I didn't really understand that even when I was a little kid. Why would we just treat people here on earth the way we thought we were going to be treated in heaven and not wait for God to punish evildoers, just, work for justice while we're here. Since I've come to UU, I really tried to figure out just a few sentences or paragraphs that I could, when people ask me outside of here, ask me like, what is UU all about? I could say, Haven't quite gotten there yet. I have to keep trying, but I picked up, there was a booklet in the back of the pamphlet back there that I picked up and took home and read. It's by, called Welcome to Unitarian Universalism, a Community of Truth, Service, Holiness, and Love, by the Reverend Tom Owen Toll. Includes the following paragraph. Unitarian Universalists seek to be whole humans, sensitive to the sacred. We hold that the holy is present amid the ordinary and that spirituality permeates the commonplace. We believe that people hunger for a holy place and their minds are stimulated, hearts are fortified, bodies are embraced, and spirits are restored. I do like that one. That seems like it embodies why I'm here. It goes a long way to describing what I feel about being here and the people here, because that's always been the most important thing to me is not the flowers or the flower arrangements, believe it or not, it's the people, because you are a lot of very special individuals that we enjoy being around very much. When we were back in Tampa and the kids were younger, we went to the UU Church in Tampa a few times, but it just, nothing wrong with it. It was great. It was just that the kids were young and I worked every other Sunday, and it just, between their activities and our work schedules, it just wasn't going to happen. So, but about the main thing I remember is watching people walk into the church with, to the sanctuary with cups of coffee, which as a formal Catholic, I was just, just seems so unchurch-like, And so even when I started coming here, it sounds terrible, but the lack of the ceremony, vestments, gold, candles, and all that, the real free candles, just, it seemed like a lack, and then I had to chide myself. It's like that's a big part of what got you away from the Catholic faith. It was a lot of form, but not a lot of substance. So I think we have the substance. I think our treasure is people, and the communion of those people, the spiritual communion of those people is why I'm here, and we're very privileged to be here. Thank you.
Good morning. Good to be with you. Thank you, Nolly. You heard the lapsed Catholic version of this story. Now the lapsed Baptist. 37 years of marriage, like we were told. I digress. On one level, I am here and a member of this congregation because Martha Hughes was incredibly nice to me the first time I visited. Absolutely. I will attempt to delve a little deeper. For all my adult life, I have avoided organized religion in much the same way one avoids a restaurant after a meal there gives you about a food poisoning. The unpleasantness sticks with me. By contemporary terms, I suppose I am an ex-evangelical, leaving behind a faith and view of the world that were damaging to my mental health. Disillusioned, I made my exit when I was 13 and considered myself, as I've told Michael and Neil once, fundamentally non-religious by the time I could vote. Let me emphasize that I have been happily non-religious. What I hope to cultivate in UU is not something I have regrets for leaving back then. The first 7 years of my school life were spent in a Baptist-affiliated private school. Believe it or not, I was not a troublemaker by any stretch of the imagination. I was mostly an A student, and I typically memorized more Bible verses than anyone else in my class, for which I would receive Christian-themed swag from the children's Bible mission that I proudly hung on the walls of my bedroom. I've often wished I could have memorized the periodic table in high school chemistry as easily as Bible verses came to me. But beginning in 3rd and 4th grade, I started having questions that arose because, thankfully, my parents did not hermetically seal our home in a fundamentalist Christian bubble. The answers I got at school from my teachers and the pastor grew increasingly inadequate. I think I knew then that I saw the Bible as allegorical rather than literal and absolute, even before I could have told you what the definition of an allegory was. Too often, the Bible and its use felt like a game of theological whack-a-mole, and there was always another mole to whack. The summer before I started third grade, my family was up in Georgia for the summer, and my grandfather had a well dug on our Emanuel County property, which for those of you who don't know where Emanuel County is 40 miles that way, inland. About 180 feet down, the drilling rig started pulling up shark's teeth, some of which I still have somewhere in a baby food jar. To my 8-year-old way of thinking, this was an amazing paleontological discovery. Noah and his ark seemed more and more like a fairy tale, as well as the attempts to align the age of the earth with the book of Genesis, an early version of the oxymoron that is creation science. My parents allowed me to read grown-up books and magazines and watch the nightly news with them, and sitcoms, after they talked about it, that discussed war and racism and other issues. My parents, bless them, wanted me to see the world for what it was, both good and bad, at least the world that could squeeze into a 25-inch RCA console TV in Tampa, Florida in the 1970s. I credit Norman Lear, the creator of All in the Family, with doing more to kickstart my moral wrestling with real-world issues than anything I learned in Baptist school. Life in that school environment was mostly shut off from the outside world. There was not much room for concern about others because we were always drilled on the wages of sin. And of course, the debauchery of the culture. I heard that Led Zeppelin put satanic messages in their albums if you played them backwards. KISS, I was told, was an acronym for Knights in Satan's Service. I just didn't like music. In 6th grade, 2 incidents occurred within a few days of one another that was a proverbial fork in the road moment for me. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we were speaking of our fathers, at the time my father was in a hospital burn unit and not expected to live. In Bible class that we had each Wednesday, our teacher recounted a news story about the recent discovery of a primitive tribe of people, either in the Amazon rainforest or a remote archipelago in the Philippines, Canton College. No written language, and up until their discovery, no contact with the outside world. Isn't it a shame, my teacher went on after describing them, that all of these people are doomed to eternal life in hell? My hand shot up. I was already struggling to make sense of what I had watched my father endure and his need for grace, which seemed in such short supply. Now, I was to believe that salvation was all a matter of where one was born, a cosmic roll of the dice. But Miss W, I countered, they have no written language, no concept of the outside world. How can you say that? Deep in their heart, they know, she said. The inadequacy of that reply haunts me to this day. I think of Ms. W's casual tossing aside of their humanity, and I think of the dehumanization we've seen too many alleged Christians extend to marginalized people in this country today. The demonization of the other. In many ways, I feel that my time there 50 years ago was like having a front row seat to the groundwork being laid for this country's alarming embrace of Christian nationalism. So that's prequel, a snapshot of some of the things that made an indelible imprint on me, and the things I cherish: knowledge, kindness, justice, the natural world. I'm here because I think I already know the damage to one's mental health that can happen from coming across caustic theology. As I age, and I'm older, I also know the harm that can come from isolation and loneliness and engaging with the world via doom scrolling. There is a lot that is awful in this world, but I take a measure of healing from being here and in your collective presence. I found in this congregation a community, humans I don't feel the need to put on a mask to engage with. People with their own unique stories and journeys. What you see here is who I am, imperfect but human and trying to be better. So thanks for making me feel welcome.
That's it.
Thank you, John and Mary and Thomas, golly. It's good to hear one another. We didn't get the hymnals passed out, but would somebody in the back please, do you have hymnals on the seat? Wonderful. Let's read together responsively 594 at the back of the hymnal. This is a reminder of the principles and purposes that have long guided this organization. 594. I will read the bold print and ask you to respond with the italics. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
We believe that each and every person is important.
We affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations.
We believe that all people should be treated fairly.
We affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth.
We believe that our churches are places where all people are accepted and where we keep on learning together.
We affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
We believe that each person must be free to search for what is true and right in life.
We affirm and promote the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process.
We believe that all people should have a voice and a vote about the things that concern them.
We affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
We believe that we should work for a peaceful, fair, and free world.
We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part.
We believe that we should care for our planet Earth.
May it be so. And now, flip back to 468. These words were written by George Odell, 468. We need one another. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted.
We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid.
We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again.
We need one another when we accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone.
We need one another in the hour of success, when we look for someone to share our triumphs.
We need one another in the hour of defeat, when we encourage and remind endure and stand again.
We need one another when we come to die, and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey.
All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us.
Amen. Thank you for reading together. Now is the time in the service for the sharing of our gifts. As we were told, that this is the last Sunday in June, so anything that goes in the plate that's not marked as your pledge, half of it will go to support Borough Pride. These gifts are received and appreciated, as is the gift of sharing and is introduced. Now is the time in the service for the sharing of joys and concerns. If there's something on your heart you'd like to share with the congregation this morning, please come and do so. You can light a candle or place a stone in the water in token of that joy or concern, or speak from your seat, whichever is comfortable. If you will, please say your name. Let's have folks new enough for still know everyone other's names. So, if you have a joy or concern, come and share.
Okay.
My name is Bex. A joy is that I'm back in Statesboro after being gone for a while, and it's good to be home. I am going through some personal things right now that are a bit of concern, so if y'all could just keep me in your thoughts, I appreciate it.
All right, well, since this is the last Sunday, I want to celebrate Pride Month. Yay. So there we go. Tomorrow is the official 30-year mark of being married to that guy. I don't and, I'm going to make a little announcement later, but we are having a vow renewal this afternoon. I've spent a lot of time looking back on the last 30 years. I'm just so blessed. And it's really wonderful to celebrate all of these. Thank you.
I'm Heather. You guys know that we're new. We just got told, kind of a joy and a concern. They're finally going to fix the floors in the house that we live in, but they gave us 15 days to move out.
Oh, jeez.
They're keeping our deposit to fix the floors. They're their fault, so that's fun. The joy is that we did find a new house in a great area. It's like 5 minutes away from where we live on Fair Road. The kids will be switching schools, so that's a little bit of a keep them in your thoughts for that. They're going to be going to Sally's instead of Langston, where they've spent literally their entire lives. So they're very worried about that. If you guys have any boxes, thoughts, or prayers, please. And also, to the end of Pride Month, thank you, Statesboro, for making such amazing strides for the people that we love.
Thank you.
We found kittens and one of them is dying, so hope that it doesn't die.
How many kittens?
We have a moment to just be perfect when you come here to have some fun.
I got two. One, same thing that MJ said for the first time. Same thing that MJ said. We did find two cats, and we're taking care of them. One's a lot smaller than his brother, so he's kind of like struggling with an upper respiratory infection, but he's slowly getting through it. We just gotta get in there. Tiny but mighty is what I call him, so hopefully he'll pull through and be all right. He was playing this morning when a done at like 5:30, so that's promising at least. My next thing, kind of like a concern, maybe not, but bear with me, this one's hard. About 2 weeks ago, I lost 2 very close friends in a car accident. Very freak car accident. A tree fell on them. Of all things, crazy enough. I am blessed though that instead of losing 2 friends, I could have lost all 4 of them. So that's always a good thing. But do keep everybody like that survived and the families of my friends and stuff and you guys and stuff and all that good stuff. I'm not sure my finger off.
I have 2. One, I don't quite know exactly what, but one of our professors, he has something going on, and I don't know to what extent because they don't really tell us, but it was enough that he actually had to come to our last class yesterday, and is actually not going to do anything else with this class. Another professor had to step in for him. So if y'all just think about him, because we only had 2 classes with him. He's really wonderful. He told us he's turning 75 in November, so I assume it's something health related. But on the joy end of things, yesterday was our last actual class for the semester for the doctoral program. So I'm very excited that now I have like a little month break, as they put it, and said do as much as you can in July, because in August it's back and it's gonna be worse. So I think so I'm just really excited to finally made it through, because I did not know I was struggling. I didn't know if I was gonna make it, and I'm really tired, and I still have one more paper to write. But because another professor stepped in, one of our papers got canceled. So now instead of 2 20-page papers, I have 1 20-page paper. So.
Thank you, Ellen.
Hi, I'm Renee. I haven't done one of these before, so I'm nervous. I have a joy. So I was with a man for 10 years, and then I had a gay crisis. And now my mental health is really, really good, and I'm dipping my toes back into the dating scene, and I've already met some really wonderful women and APAB people, and I'm just really excited. So I have to like.
Amazing, like getting rid of 200 pounds of poison.
I'll have to talk to you about that later.
All right, a candle in celebration of Pride.
And our great time last night.
Great time last night, so much fun.
If you weren't there, you missed a fun dance over at our neighbors. Trinity Episcopal hosted a Pride Mass, and then food trucks, and then dancing. And many of us check the Facebook page, you'll see the evidence.
No. And thanks to Sherry, our photo lady who takes all of our photos for us.
Thank you, thank you. And so, on that note, announcement, if I'm not here, somebody take pictures, because the newsletter this month isn't going to have many, because I missed 2 Sundays this month. So, feel free to take pictures and share them with me. And now, I will light this final candle in celebration of all we are, and in hopes we can be brave about sharing who and what we are, so that those out there among us looking for a home where they can be accepted and loved might know about us in kindness. May we be brave. to speak a word of prayer. We pause in our busy lives and make space to come and support our faith community on Sunday mornings. We are reminded that this is sacred space where we can hold one another in love and light and acceptance. We don't have to understand or agree on every topic. We can agree in love. May we continue to do that. May those who have brought their concerns, their joys, the things on their heart to us this morning feel heard and know they're in a community of people who care. May that ever be so. Amen. And blessed be. As you're able, please rise. I want to pray for us, and we will sing together, Spirit of Life.
Every single person in this room is invited at 1 o'clock for the renewal of our vows ceremony, which Sherry's officiating, and playing, and Mo's gonna sing. Like these are teasers to say. And after, and I appreciate the flexibility of our potluck folks. Afterwards, we're going to have a potluck, so I invite you all to stay or go and come back, or whatever you would like to do, but you'll get to see me in the wedding dress that I wore 30 years ago. So, still fits. Anyway, I just wanted you all to know you are, each and every one of you is more than welcome. We would love to have you.
Thank you, Adrian. Other announcements?
Since it's the vaccinated month, Queer Book Club at Books A Million 3 to 4 today, but also the Boba Tea Place, Emmy's is hosting a drag contest at 4 or 5 o'clock today. So if you don't want to come to Queer Book Club, then you want to stop by Emmy's at 5 o'clock for that.
5 o'clock is Emmy's Bubble Tea Lounge, and I have never been to. I checked it out yesterday. There's all kind of neat teas. Yes, Kiki's hands up. She already been. So it's out between McAllister's and Mellow Mushroom. You know your way around my restaurants. That's where it is. Near the small one. What other announcements do we have this morning? Okay. Then we have a closing hymn, and is Owen going to play, or do we have the music recorded? Owen's going to play. So if you have your hymnals, just as long as I have breath, which is number 6. dismissed to go and have refreshments, come back.